Good day, everyone. Good day. Welcome. Welcome. I hope everybody is having an awesome day and a power packed, successful week. Welcome. Come on in. I have just something that I want to share with you this morning. But before I start, let's do the obligatory introduction. Welcome to Triumph Services. For those of you who don't know who I am Monique White, the CEO and founder of Triumph Services, a consulting and coaching firm where I help single professional moms replace their full-time income with a part-time hustle so they can be at home with their children, do what they love, and never miss a first again. And I want to welcome you to a new series that I am launching and that I will be before you on, which is Banishing Self-Sabotage. Banishing Self-Sabotage. How timely and appropriate is that? We are going to be delving into some topics, tackling some issues of thought patterns, behaviors that are not serving you. But more importantly, we will be discussing strategies to overcome them. So come on in, take a minute, grab your paper, your pencil, and just lend me your ear for a little bit. So today I want to talk to you about people pleasing. People pleasing. How many of you out there are people pleasers? Raise your hand. Some of you might not want to admit it. I haven't overcome it, can actually now say, okay, I was a people pleaser, but thank God I have overcome it. Now, I am a faith-based organization, so you are going to hear me refer back to the word. What does the word say about people pleasing? Let's delve into that. Well, Matthew 6:1 tells us, actually 6:1 through 34. And I'm going to pull from that text. You can go back and read the whole text. But it starts out saying, beware of practicing your righteousness before other people in order to be seen by them. For then you will have no reward from your Father who is in heaven. Beware of practicing your righteousness before other people in order to be seen by them. And it goes on, and a lot of us have heard it over and over again. No one can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one, love the other. He'll be devoted to one, or he'll despise the other. So even in the text, it recognizes these behaviors and thought patterns that don't serve us. Galatians 1:10 says, for am I now seeking approval of man or God? Or am I trying to please man? If I am trying to please man, I would not be a servant of Christ. So what is the result of and the effect of people pleasing? Well, one, and the biggest one is, it's not in alignment with your purpose of God. You were not created to please man, but you were created to please God and him alone. So when you're people pleasing, A, it's a dishonor to God, you're a creator, and it's displeasing to him. And B, you're blinding yourself because you're so wrapped up in other people and other things that you're blinding yourself to God's purpose and plan for your life. And additionally, because of that, you are blocking your own blessing. You are blocking your own blessing because you're blinded, because you can't see what you're supposed to be doing. Truly, because you're blinded with all this extraness, you can't receive what God has for you. And then it also stunts your growth. It stunts your growth because it leads to unhealthy relationships and unhealthy boundaries. And that in turn, because it's an unhealthy relationship and you don't have healthy boundaries, it creates anxiety and stress. Some of those other emotions that go with it is guilt, shame, fear. Fear of what? Fear of disapproval, fear of conflict. And really, all of those are techniques, if you will. All of those are coping mechanisms or part of maturing and dealing with the world. So if you aren't developing those things, your growth is stunted. Your growth is stunted. And remember, I said it before, I don't know if you caught it a couple lives ago. Stress has physiological effects on the body, particularly women. It has been shown to lead to overeating, which leads to obesity, which also leads to heart disease, also leads to diabetes, leads to a whole bunch of stuff. It's just like a slippery slope. Moreover, people pleasing has been scientifically correlated to depression. Wow. I bet you didn't think about that. It has. It has. And on the business side of it, people pleasing leads to underperformance. Either you're dumbing yourself down because you don't want to offend someone or you don't want someone to feel badly, or you're taking on too much that you are spread too thin. So you can't perform at your peak. And then also, and this is a big one, because you know I'm all about this. People pleasing actually gives away your God-given power. Someone else is exerting power over you. It's not serving you. You tend to make, when you people please, you tend to make, for the vast majority, yourself subservient to someone else. And why do you do that? Because you desire their approval. And that, depending on to the extent, can become debilitating. You're finding it difficult to be independent, to take a stance. And the problem with that is, when you're focused on your validation from others, you can be put in a situation where you're doing, saying, behaving in a manner which is not in alignment with your core values, with your integrity. So the Bible says in 1 Corinthians, I gave you two other texts. The Bible says in 1 Corinthians 10:31, so whatever you eat or drink, or whatever you do, not sometimes, like maybe, but whatever you do, do all for the glory of God. For the glory of God. So if you are a people pleaser, how do you overcome this? How do you overcome this? Because also, which I didn't mention, is when you're people pleasing, people tend to take advantage of you because you have no healthy boundaries. And because you haven't properly projected that, boundaries can be crossed and people don't develop a respect for you. You lose your power, you lose your respect, especially in the business arena. So what do you do about it? So what do you do about it? First of all, you have to recognize and be firm in and know beyond all else that your purpose was not here to please man, but to please God. Your purpose was not to please man, but to please God. Secondly, when it comes up, be intentional about recognizing it for what it is. When you are approached and you feel a need to give in and just go along with the flow and say yes, recognize it when it happens. Step back, and 2, do some introspective. It doesn't have to be long. Ask yourself, why do you feel compelled to give in? Why do you feel compelled to say yes? Why do you feel compelled to go along with the flow? Do a quick root analysis. You can't deal with something if you don't know the whole root of the issue. And deal with that issue. Because it's not just recognizing the issue, but you got to start dealing with that issue. Then thirdly, ask yourself, is this something that is truly going to serve you? Do you really want to do it? If the answer is no, no is a complete sentence. Is this something that is going to serve you? Do you have the ability to do it? Do you have the time to do it? Whatever that may be. And lastly, and most importantly, ask yourself, is this in alignment with your core values? That which does not serve you is not for you. And then practice saying no. No is not easy for some of us. Practice saying no. Practice saying no in different situations. And as you practice it, it will become easier and you will feel more in control. Next, affirm. We just talked about feeling more in control. Affirm that you are in control. You do not have to do anything that you don't want to do. You do not have to do anything that doesn't serve you. You do not have to do, behave, say anything that is not in alignment with those core values that we spoke about. It is being intentional about reprogramming yourself. Be intentional. Make a commitment to yourself. And know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you were made to please one person only. To please God. And as long as He is pleased with you, you're good. As long as God is pleased with me and my actions, because I can only be responsible and accountable for what I do, I don't do, I say, and I don't say. As long as He is pleased, I'm good. So that is what I have for you today on people pleasing in the new series, Banishing Self-Sabotage. Again, beware of practicing your righteousness before other people in order to be seen by them. You are created to please one person and one person only, and that is God. Recognize your purpose. Recognize when you're compelled to people please. When it happens, take a moment, breathe, ask yourself, why, do a quick root analysis, and then when you get past the why, ask yourself, is this something that will serve you? Do you have the ability? Do you have the time? Is it in alignment with your core values? Affirm that you and you alone are in control. Practice saying no and engage in some intentional reprogramming. Thank you for joining. Have an absolutely awesome day. Again, I am Monique White of Triumph Services, where I help single professional moms replace their full-time income with a part-time hustle so they can be at home with their children, do what they love, and never miss a first again.